welcome back to the Channel 4.5 News. I'm Haley Freed.
And I'm Sarah Underwood. Today is December 21st, 2012.
And the high today is a negative 35 degrees, a record high since 1901.
School closings include Eden Prairie, Prior Lake, Chaska, Chanhassen, Jordan, Lakeville, and Shakopee School is still in session.
We're also experiencing a record-breaking snowfall of 5 feet today, so be careful on those roads and fill up those bobcats. You're going to need them.
In other news, a recent outbreak of anthrax has been confirmed at a local public school, Shakopee Senior High. Anthrax is a dangerous disease that is caused by the bacterium Bacillus anthracis.
So tell us, what exactly is anthrax?
Anthrax is a disease that typically affects people who come into contact frequently with cattle and sheep. However, the disease is also common with animals and those who tan hides.
And now to Jake and David, who are on site at Ground Zero. How's it looking down there, guys?
So far, the people are exhibiting symptoms that show fever, shortness of breath, cough, chest pain, and they have a headache.
Do they know how the anthrax is spreading?
The CDC is actually not certain on how it is spreading, however they do believe that it is being spread through the air.
So you're saying if there are different symptoms, it would be a different mode of transmission?
Well, certainly. If the person had cutaneous anthrax, for example, they would most likely have a scab at the point of infection. Now, if they had gastrointestinal anthrax, the person would be experiencing abdominal pain, diarrhea, and even vomiting. And since none of these victims are currently showing any signs such as these, we do believe that it is airborne.
What is the CDC doing to determine the sick from the healthy? Our research shows us anthrax takes a while to germinate before someone shows symptoms.
You're right, Haley. The spores do need to germinate, however. Blood tests and spinal taps are being done in those in the infected area.
What is being done for those who are infected?
Well, the infected are going to be given a cacophony of medications, such as penicillin, deoxycycline, and ciprofloxacin. And if caught in time, the patient will recover completely.
You said caught in time. Does this mean that if the disease is not caught early enough, the patient will die?
Yes. If anthrax is not stopped within a certain amount of time, the patient will die.
Has the CDC determined how this epidemic has started?
No, they have not, Haley. They are currently looking into it and have the world's best epidemiologists on site tracking the spread of the disease. There are also precautions being put into place that are preventing the spread of the disease.
What is being done to contain this disease?
Well, currently we have 3 options that will be set in motion sometime in the near future. First, there is the mass vaccination of all people within this area. Second, we will have to set up a large quarantine zone. And third, if all else fails, we're going to have to send a nuclear warhead straight to Shakopee.
Has anything like this ever happened before?
Yes, this happened in 2001. It was sent by mail. 4 employees in Washington inhaled the anthrax and became ill. The 4 infected patients then spread the disease and caused a multi-state outbreak. In the case of in 2001, the government responded and gave people who were at risk the medications before they began to show symptoms as a precautionary measure. However, in this outbreak, the area affected is too large. There are too many people who have been infected, so simply distributing drugs will not work. Quarantining the area is the best bet at the moment, which is what the CDC is doing.
What is the history of anthrax? Where did it first show up, and if it's so dangerous, why do we still have it today?
Well, you see, we do have some research set here. To answer your first question, there is actually descriptions of it dating all the way back to the Roman poet Virgil. It started out as an economically important agricultural disease. It affected livestock. Humans who came into contact with such animals were the ones who were infected. And let's see, page 7. Being the first disease for which a microbial origin was definitively established in 1876 by Robert Koch. It was also the first disease for which an effective live bacterial vaccine was developed in 1881 by Louis Pasteur himself. During the later half of the 19th century, a previously unrecognized form of anthrax appeared for the first time, namely the inhalational anthrax, which was airborne. And this occurred among the wool sorters in England due to the generation of the infectious aerosols of anthrax spores under the industrial conditions. And I believe those came from the contaminated goat hair and alpaca wool.
It probably represents the first described occupational respiratory infectious disease the military is concerned. With anthrax is its potential use as a biological weapon. This concern was heightened by the revelation that the largest epidemic of inhalation anthrax in recent history occurred in Russia in 1979. The epidemic occurred after anthrax spores were accidentally released from a military research facility located upwind from where the cases occurred. The reason anthrax is still around is because it can be used in vaccines.
What is the government's reaction to these attacks or to the prior attacks?
There have been talks now and in the past about making vaccines for all forms of infectious diseases. to better prepare our people in the event of a biological attack.
Where are the global effects going to be if this spreads?
Well, the effects will include the medical field, but it may also affect the agriculture by affecting the livestock, which can in turn affect the economy. And just generally, it will affect the entire world population if we allow it to get out of hand. But for now, only time will be able to tell.